Taip, o toliau aš kviečiu įmonę Nuvei, tai Beną Bakevičių, QA inžinierių ir Marijų Vitkauską, QA komandos vadovą įmonėje Nuvei. How to be a match in tomorrow's engineering world.
Our presentation will also be in English as the previous one. First of all, very nice to see you. We will speak about a slightly different topic. We have decided that it's a bit too easy for you right now because everyone is telling you how to sell yourselves, how to write your CVs, and how to start your careers right now. But we thought that it might be fun to give you an additional challenge and to start thinking about how to progress your careers a bit more in the future. So mainly like 1 or 2 years in the future when you will actually be potentially transferring into medium roles or into another kind of path. So let's start.
So, yeah. Okay, we are Nuvei. We are a global fintech. We are, currently we have, I think, about 2,000 employees. We're working with, I think, over 200 different currencies. And fun thing, in the last 4 months, we processed about $40 billion. And the last year, I think 150 or so. Please don't quote me on that, but it's pretty huge amount of money. And about Nuvei in Lithuania. In Lithuania, we have about 100 employees currently and working on mainly 3 projects. It's digital currencies, or crypto a little bit, Nuvei accounts, which is a money system, whereas basically we are kind of bank almost, and card issuing.
So next we will talk a bit about why we're actually here, as in here. So first of all, we want to introduce ourselves. So hi, my name is Marijus. This is Benas. You will see our small CVs a bit further down in the slides. But in general, we wanted to see you because it's really excited to see many people changing their careers and considering IT as a potential prospect. Because, well, we both work in that sector. We really love it, and it's really exciting to see so many people actually changing their careers. We want you to succeed in your journey. We know that you may have a lot of unknowns. We know that you might be overly excited, you might be under-excited, you might be thinking about what lies in the future. So we wanted to share a bit of our story and just to help you in your journey in the future. And also just to make sure, because we as a company have quite high hiring standards. So we are very much interested in your successful careers, because then we'll be much more interested to see you also working with us. A bit about myself. I've been working in QA, so QA is testing in general, so I've been working in QA for more than 10 years right now. I have started off as a game designer, so that was not exactly QA related, but it was something similar to that. From there, I eventually transferred into QA, then into fintechs, so worked in Nasdaq before, which is the 3rd biggest global exchange market, and then eventually went into a QA lead position.
And a little bit about me. I am Benas. Hello again, like 3rd time or something. I worked in multiple companies also. My experience is also about 10 years in QA. And now, as you can see, I am QA again, even though I changed multiple roles. And sometimes changing roles, it's pretty good. So about our company and about what you could expect in real world situations, in not just like we are a great company and we do everything super great, but real things.
Even though we are a great company and we do everything super great.
Yes. So a little bit about our worst release ever. Like the company decided to build one of the most anticipated projects, which will generate a lot of money, and so on, so on, so on. And we handpicked most senior members, developers, basically a dream team. And we were working really, really long months, like 6, 7 or something like that. We are progressing really well. We built everything, and everything was nice. And release date came. We put a whiskey bottle on the table, everything ready, everyone is excited, and we need to push the button. And we did it. Oh yeah, we are very happy, excited. Product is live, but I'm trying to log in and it doesn't work. Colleagues try to log in and it doesn't work. God damn. We put our whiskey back to the drawer. We decided that now it's time to work again. So pretty fast, I think in an hour or so, we find an issue, we fixed it in like 5 minutes, and we pushed button again, and we are live again. And second time, yeah, we are also excited, but not as much as first time, but now it's working. Everything is nice and going smooth, and best thing about that, nobody got fired. After that, we improved our processes not to have such failures again, and now most of releases are pretty smooth. Next thing, when you are building a product, you are often pretty late. And sometimes you are in situations when you not even started working on the product, but you are late, and you need to have product now. So we were in the similar situation, and we decided that we're gonna try to do most of the work with least amount of effort. So situations is like that. Then we have, for example, we build the page and there is pixels missing or not correct alignment, and to fix that will cost us a day, but in the same day we can build a new feature. So we choosing build new feature and fixed that later some time ago. And we were working like that for a pretty long time, and our product was pretty successful. We were releasing pretty smoothly and so on. And I am as QA. Sometimes I had to squint my eyes really, really hard to allow bugs, missing features, and a lot of other things that I cannot disclose to go to production. But yeah, we had a product which was running, which was generating money, not always fully developed, not always 100% done, but it's working, it's generating money, and that's perfectly fine. And from that came next thing. When you are cutting corners for a pretty long time, corners start to cut you back.
By the way, if you see, it's not the first steak that went into the picture.
Yeah, it's healed already. When we are developing like that, you sometimes, not sometimes, you build a backlog. You have a lot of missing features, bugs, a lot of tech debt, and yeah, it's possible to do that for some time. But after some time, it starts to get really complicated to do that. And our most useful flow was in such a case that it was almost impossible to develop or improve it. For example, if we, like 3 months ago, it took us a day to add the button. Now it's like 2 weeks to do that. And team starts to push back. It's complicated. Nobody starts to want to work with that features, with that workflows, and so on. So we decided to stop cutting corners and to improve our product. And not after too much time, only I think 6 months, we rebuilt our main flow in such a way that it works exactly as it was working, but now it's more maintainable, more useful, and yeah, it's take time. And you, who will be working in IT, you will build shitty products with Sorry about that.
We meant amazing products.
Yeah, which will need to improve after some time, and you will need to dedicate a lot of time to fix what you did like 6 months ago, year, 2 years ago, or even you will work on the projects which were built in 2002 and you need to improve that. So yeah, so what you can learn from these lessons? Yeah, so sometimes you cannot go as smooth as you want, but finally you can drink that whiskey. Done is better than perfect. If you don't have running product which generating money, but you are fixing, improving, and it's never reach light of the day, you will. It's worthless. Sometimes it's get better to have something not perfect but working than have perfect thing not existing. And sometimes you need to do things which you don't want to do, and yeah, that's basically what I want to say.
And also one more important thing is that very likely you will encounter I know it's a very bad word, but you will encounter failures. You will encounter things where you feel like you have not done a great job or you have not performed well. And the most important thing is to learn from that experience, because it will be very important for you if you learn what you could have done better, if you speak to your team, if you have some sessions, for example, where you speak about what happened, why did it happen, how can we improve this, because it's inevitable. You will, if you go and everything is successful, you will not learn as much as learning from failures. I'm not saying fail all the time, but just if you do, please learn from it.
If you don't need to wake up at 3 in the morning to fix a build, so you won't make always the good code. Like that failures makes you better in your day-to-day job, because next time you don't need to wake up at 3 in the morning.
And from my end, I will share an experience that is actually quite similar, I think, to what a lot of you maybe have right now. So as I was mentioned before, for my CV, I worked in game design at first. Do we have any people here who are interested in computer games and gaming and in anything? We have some. We have more. Amazing. Those who are interested, you may understand me when I say that back then it seemed like a dream job to me. It seemed like, you know, I love playing games. I love working on games, so it is a dream job to just go and work on those games all my life. Well, I'll basically be playing all my games for work. And I came to a point when I had to choose between game design and between QA. So I had a lot of very painful and sleepless evenings and nights when I was learning about both of them, because at least I felt that I had to choose one or another, because they were kind of becoming separate, and I had to start, well, specifying my career to advance, basically. And for me, it was very tough, because especially QA was unknown, and some people said boring. It was also the fact that I needed to learn about, well, both, but I felt like I was much more fitted for game design, because I was already playing games since my teenage years, so that's like a lot of experience. But still, what I did was I learned a lot by myself. I also went and did an ISTQB certificate for testing by myself, and eventually I chose QA. And right now I can say I am extremely happy with that decision, because it's the IT world itself is much more diverse than what I thought at first. It's not just coding, it's not just testing. There's also DevOps, there's also databases, as we've heard before. There's a lot of different things that you can get involved with, and eventually you can also get involved in product design and similar things if you feel like it. And for me also, one of the best things was that I was able to keep gaming as kind of side hustle. So I still participate in like small indie projects, especially here in Lithuania, for some people, where I get to try out their games before they're even like released public. Most of them don't even see the actual like production, but still it's great to participate in that kind of as a hobby. But overall, just wanted to say that I really am happy that I chose AT, and for you, you should definitely be excited if you're going into that career, just because it is a lot more than just writing code. As you advance, the choices keep on coming. Right now, for example, I am a lead, which is even much more different than when it was before. Before it was, going into sometimes into code, into the applications. Right now, like 70 or 80% of my work is people, working with them, which I also enjoy and I also love. So that is great. And then, in general, we wanted to talk a bit more about what we actually look for in candidates, because we mentioned that we are a picky employer. So you might have heard these things, but we want to emphasize that, and just to make sure that you understand how important they are and how important they will be in your careers. So first of all is learn to learn. You've heard everywhere that it's important to keep on learning. You have to keep on, getting new information and getting new knowledge, which is great. But the same methods don't work for everyone. For some people, it's going and watching tutorials. For other people, it's going and doing something in practice. For even other people, it's like reading books. For someone else, it's trying to get a bunch of friends. For example, if you're into gaming and if you want to go into programming, get a bunch of games and try work on a hobby project. Pick one of the bigger game engines that are easier to work with. It's already a great experience. Second one is be proactive and active in the real world when possible. So for example, create a portfolio, create a GitHub account and try deploying some code already. Create a WordPress page of yourself or something like that as a hobby, for example, or maybe as a page about your hobbies, something that already puts you there and puts you into practice. This will be extremely useful in this moment and also in the future when your future employers will be asking, so what else are you doing outside of work? This one is take it with a grain of salt, but I would really advise you to get out of your comfort zone because it's very easy, especially when you're starting your career, you're overwhelmed with everything. And you want to do everything and everything seems excited, but from time to time, choose projects which are difficult and take some works which are not really, which people don't really want to do, just because then you can experience why that is the case. You can understand why it went to that point, and you can also speak to those supervisors, to those leads about the actual problems, because you will encounter them in the future. So as an example, if you're going into coding, it will be very difficult, but try to work on someone else's code. You will see then that the world is very different than what you thought it was. What you learned from previously, what you learned from tutorials, that all goes to hell, because someone else wrote a code which they understand and maybe they did not comment it properly, and you have to understand why they even did some things. Lastly, this is, you're already getting this, I think, and I hope a lot. I saw a lot of workshops happening about similar things, but this is one of the #1 things that you two should be doing, especially when you're interviewing, is do your homework before interviews. It's really painful when you have a potentially amazing candidate who is coming to apply for a position, and you ask them what they know about your company, and they just do this.
No, nothing.
No, nothing, yes. So read about the company. That's the smallest amount of work you can do. Read about the company, read about what they're doing. Go a bit deeper. Go into, for example, search about articles that were written about that company. Look into the projects that they're working on if you can. Take some more knowledge, and from there then comes the second point, which is even more important. Prepare some questions. When you're going for interviews yourselves, that is very important to show that you're motivated, and that is important to show that you are interested in that position. Prepare some questions. You can have some generic ones, like, for example, so what can I expect from my position in 2 years? That also puts you ahead before they ask you what you expect. But still, learn about their team structure, listen when you have the introductions from their company, and then they will speak about the history or something. You can ask, oh, so why did you decide to expand to, I don't know, US and 2005? Maybe something like that. But already stay on your toes and just prepare some questions that will make you stand out, and that will also, for you, it will instill this this will to be motivated, because at that point that is actually what you want to do. You want to be invested into that conversation. You want to be invested into that process. And I think we're almost out of time.
We are almost out of time.
Yeah, so a bit about us, because obviously we're an amazing company that always delivers great products. But yeah, so overall about Nuvei, it's still a fairly new name in Lithuania, which is understandable.
But not in the world.
Yes, but not in the world. So we are a global company right now. We are working in Canada, in US, in Asia, in Europe,
And 200 global locations.
There you go, in 200 global locations. We have, for IT-related things, especially in Lithuania, we offer different technology stacks, as we discussed before. We have JavaScript, we have Java, we have .NET. We're also interested in people who are doing testing, both manual and automation. We're just overall a global fintech, and we have amazing benefits and competitive salaries, and also we agree with the fact that one of the most important things is to learn, and we provide great opportunities for that. We have access to global libraries for tutorials. We have people who are very much interested. Right now, for example, we also have a mentorship program internally going on, where seniors meet up with more junior people, not necessarily even from their own departments, but just to speak about things like, for example, leadership, team management, things like that might be of interest. This was a short. Do we still have time? We do? Then let's watch a quick movie. Right, so that's it for the presentation. If you have any questions, I think we still hopefully have a few minutes. We do? Great. So yeah, if you have any questions, then feel free to ask.
Gal galit papasakoti daugiau, ką darot su kripto, nes girdėjau, kad liktai buvo užsiminta.
Taip, dirbam su kripto. Taip, mes dirbam su kripto ir mes padedam žmonėm onboardintis ir offboardintis iš kripto. Tai yra nusipirkti kriptovaliutų ir parduoti kriptovaliutas, bet mes taip labai tiesiogiai kripto neliečiam, mes daugiau dirbam su fiatu, tai su pinigais. Ir taip mes tai darom.
Aš galiu labai korporatinį atsakymą dar duoti šitą klausimą. Bet jis yra irgi teisingas. Mes labai intensyviai dirbam su tuom, kad kripto pirkimas ir pardavimas būtų daug sklandesnis ir kad tiek perkančios, tiek parduodančios pusės galėtų būti labiau užtikrintos, kad tas sandėris, kurį jie daro, yra teisėtas. Tai yra, kad kai tu jau ateini pirkti per mus, tu jau gali būti kiek įmanoma labiau užtikrintas, kad tiek perkančioji, tiek parduodančioji pusė yra praėjusios įvairias patikras ir jeigu jau jos yra toj platformoje ir jeigu tas sandėris yra daromas, tai tu gali būti užtikrintas, kad jis yra, kad tai bent jau pinigai yra švarus, tarkim, tai pasakysim, nes mes į tai irgi labai daug dedam pastangų, kad tai būtų ne vien tik tais sandoriai vykdomi, bet kad būtų užtikrinamas tas visas skaidrumas.
Taip, atsakėt, ne? Atsakėt. Taip, ar dar klausimų mes turim? Aha, supratau. Na, vyrai, labai puikiai viską paaiškinat, man atrodo, tai dar kartelį įmonė Nuvei, Benas ir Marijus. Ačiū jums, vyrai.